The Azure Data Explorer is the backbone where they are putting the data in back. But now Microsoft has unified it. They brought something called Azure Monitoring Agent. So this Azure Monitoring Agents also come with simplified management. It comes with better security and performance. A single monitoring agent with which you will be able to collect the logs. So that's the main benefit of using the Azure Monitoring Agent. Let's say I want to give a better performance. Yeah, then this is a good option. If you're looking for a cost reduction, yeah, this is also a better option. If you're looking for security and performance, and last but not the least, if we are looking for a simplified management, this is going to be the best one.
Hello, guys. So today we have gathered here for one more episode of Azure Honor. So today we have Satish Veerapandian. He's a Microsoft MVP, speaker, blogger, and whatnot. So he has wide knowledge of experience, about 15 years of industry experience in Azure tech stack. And yeah, so today we are going to discuss about Azure Application Insights and the Kusto Query Language. So I'm very eager to just discuss these topics and gather your insights on this topic, Satish.
Hi, I would like to say a great thank you for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, this is the second series of podcast I'm doing with Covey.co. Previously, I had an opportunity to talk about Azure Automation Account. Yeah, Covey.co is a great company, giving opportunity for speakers like us to share the knowledge on the product that we are working on Microsoft. Yeah, so today I have some thought process to give insight about the log analytics workspace and how to move from the log analytics workspace. If you're running on the legacy agent, like what are the process to move to the Microsoft Monitoring Agent. We'll start with this first series of video, and then we'll talk about it in one more series as a final one.
Great. So, Satish, yeah, there has been a recent announcement from Microsoft, right? So they have renamed this Azure Application Insights to Azure Monitoring Agent.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
So, any guesses on why this new? Because Application Insights is becoming more popular in recent days, right? So, why Microsoft like comes up with a new version of that Application Insights and renaming it to Microsoft Monitoring Agent?
Yeah. So basically, I could give a little bit of overview of what Microsoft did in the past, and what is the main reason behind this change. Because basically it was like both of Microsoft Monitoring Agent and the Azure Monitoring Agent, they were built in the background of Azure Data Explorer, because the Azure Data Explorer is the backbone where they are putting the data in back, and then the powerful tool which is used to query the insights of what we have ingested and what is happening in the application or in your infrastructure. It's a VM or a physical machine which is running. If you want to monitor them, they have a back and powerful tool which is called a Kusto Query Language. So it's a powerful tool. With the help of this tool, you're able to explore your data, discover the patterns, like identify what's happening in your application, and then you can build the dashboards and create alerts and all this stuff. So basically, Microsoft was previously using something called Log Analytics Agent, but that Log Analytics Agent is a process where it's used to collect the data from different sources, Windows, from Linux, from appliances. All these things, they had a different process. Like, for example, if you want to collect the logs from Windows, it was different. If you want to collect the logs from application, it was a little bit different. But now Microsoft has unified it. They brought something called Azure Monitoring Agent. So this Azure Monitoring Agents also come with simplified management. It comes with better security and performance, and it is just one single monitoring agent. With that, you would be able to collect from all the different sources. So basically, Microsoft has simplified it. Before they had they had a lot of flavors based on the operating system or the type of device that you're collecting the logs. So now they made it as a simplified management, which is like a single monitoring agent with which you will be able to collect the logs. So that's the main benefit of using the Azure Monitoring Agent.
So this monitoring agent, this needs to be deployed into your virtual machine, or how does it work?
That's a very good question, because basically you need to collect the data from the source where you need to monitor. So the resource type could be multiple. For example, it could be a virtual machine, or it could be an on-premise server, or even it could be our desktops, like Windows 10, Windows 11 desktops. So in those cases, like you need to have the installation, the Azure Monitoring Agent installed. Usually, if it is going to be a virtual machine, Microsoft simplified it. It's only a virtual machine extension. Let me tell you the example, because previously, when we use the log analytics agent, you need to install the agent, you need to put the workspace key, and then you need to put it. Let's say if you want to monitor 100 agents, 100 of agents, you need to do this through SCCM or Intune or any of the methods you have to do it. There's a possibility that you could miss, this configuration, one or two agents, those would go unmonitored. So in
Exactly.
order to avoid those, yes, in order to avoid those, Microsoft brought a new way, which is called the virtual machine extension. So this one installs the agent by using the Azure extension framework. By using this, like it's very simple, and you don't need to put the workspace ID key. It's not complicated. Uh, if, for example, if you're using an on-premise server, they have something called Azure Arc enabled servers. By using the Azure Arc enabled servers, that will install the agent by using the Azure extension framework. So basically, this Azure Arc serves as an intermediate between your on-premise VM and the Azure. So this Azure Arc would be able to install the agent and provide the logs to the workspace. So if it is going to be a desktop, a laptop, Windows 10 11, it is going to be a client installer. So it's installs the agent by using the Windows MSI. So this is one of the easiest way. Yeah,
Yeah. So based upon the target system, this agent depends or varies, right?
yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Okay. Uh, since it's a new addition from the Azure platform, is there any current limitations with it? So, like say, anything that it couldn't log to or log from?
That's a very good question. Okay. First, let me start with the positive note.
Mhm.
Like talking about a positive note, previously, there was a request coming from a lot of the customers. Let's say you have 100 VMs. These 100 VMs, if they wanted to send the logs to 4 log analytics workspace, that was not possible. But now they brought it, like if you have 100 VMs, you could segregate, and each of the VMs could send the logs to multiple workspace. That is possible. But that's one of the benefit which they brought it right now. So like for example, you have 100 VMs, you need to send the logs to different workspace. You have 10 log analytic workspace, a team working on different projects. That's possible. That's one of the benefit. And basically my advice is like, for example, a customer who is already having 100 VMs, which is configured with the old methodology of using the log analytics workspace, uh, moving to the Microsoft Monitoring Agent is going to give you a benefit. And then, like I would suggest you see and compare what is the new requirement, that your business or you're looking for in the roadmap. Let's say I want to give a better performance, yeah, then this is a good option. If you're looking for a cost reduction, yeah, this is also a better option. If you're looking for security and performance, and last but not the least, if you are looking for a simplified management, this is going to be the best one. So overall, I would say, there is no disadvantage. But if you're looking for something, in the roadmap, I want it now. So those things we have to wait. So, but this Microsoft Monitoring Agent has been there for more than a year. So Microsoft has better simplified it. So now it's the right time for you to migrate from the log analytics to Microsoft Monitoring Agent.
So this monitoring agent, it's kind of an intermediate mechanism, right? It just pulls the data and just stores it somewhere into the Azure platform. And still, in order for us to query those logs, we will be using Kusto's query language. Or is there something else?
Exactly. That's right.
Okay, so still it
So
depends upon the Kusto's query language only.
yes, exactly. So, as I stated earlier, the Kusto Query Language is a powerful tool. With that, you would be able to explore the data that whatever you have ingested into the workspace. So, by using this, you would be able to get a better insights to your application usage. For example, let's take a scenario. You have like 40 or 50 meeting rooms which is running all over the world. you wanted to get a better insight of, okay, what are the meeting rooms that's available. Like for example, if the camera is disconnected, if the mic is not working, all those things. If you have configured the Microsoft monitoring agents, you have sent those logs to the workspace, then you can create a better insight. You can create workbooks. Workbooks is something like a monitoring dashboard. You can create a monitoring dashboard. You can do create a nice reporting visualization and do the reporting for most of the data sources that you are sending it. So that's one of the best benefit of the Kusto Query Language.
But this Kusto's query language comes with a bit of a learning curve, right?
Yes, that's a very good, interesting question. Of course, Loganalytics uses the version of the Kusto Query language that's suitable for both simple and advanced log queries using this functionality. So, like you would be able to create even a small aggregation. You'll be able to say, okay, give me a list of machines which has restarted since last 7 days. So those things you would be easily able to get from the running a small query. And if you want to create an advanced join, then you go with it. So basically, from my point of view, the Kusto query is a very easy language for anyone to pick up. It's not a complex one.
So if someone decides to get started with this monitoring agent, where do they start from? Is it already available in the marketplace, or is it something like available in the preview that user needs to subscribe to, or how does it work?
Okay, that's a very good question. So here now we are going to talk about the prerequisites, how to get started. So to enable this log analytics workspace and get connected with the Microsoft Monitoring Agent, first prerequisite is we need to have the Azure subscription. We should have an active Azure subscription to create and configure the workspace. So basically, the log analytics workspace is the one which will be having all the logs. So you have to create the log analytics workspace, set it up, and after setting it up, then you need to decide what type of sources you are going to collect the logs. If it is going to be Windows, it is going to be Linux, or it is going to be Azure VMs, or it's going to be an on-premise VMs. So for on-premise missions, you have one prerequisites. You need to have the Azure Arc enabled. That's what we talked. It's Azure Arc acts as an intermediate between these two. So after setting up this Microsoft Monitoring Agent, then you would be able to send all the logs to your log analytics workspace. So the first thing is you need to have an Azure subscription, and you need to have the Microsoft Monitoring Agent installed. So these are the two first things that you have to do to get started with this. Yeah, I wanted to talk about even the ways to explore the Kusto from you know from the admin side. There are two ways to explore the Kusto. The first way is like you can go to the workspace that you are sending the logs. From the workspace, it's the graphical method for the graphical lovers. They can just go and run the query from there. They can start typing the query. When you go to the graphical, the best part is it gives you a few suggestions based on the logs it is having. It would give you some suggestion. Okay, you wanted to know when did your system restart, or if you wanted to know like what is the performance of these computers. It gives you some basic queries. You can just simply click on it and run. It will give you the result, and later you would start modifying it and build your own query. So that's the first one. You can explore the Kusto from the portal itself. And the second one is you would be able to explore by using a Kusto Query Explorer. So there is a tool, the Kusto Explorer. So you can download it from ak.ms/Kusto Explorer. So when you download that Kusto Explorer, it's a rich desktop application that will enable you to explore your data using the Kusto Query language in an easy to use interface. So there, you can have a better dashboard, because it has some lot of better visualization options. You can create an area chart, you can create a line chart, you can create a pie chart. So all these options are available in the one click menu option, where it will help you to create your own visualization in an easier. That's one thing about exploring the Kusto. Yeah, and if you have any other questions, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer
Yes.
them.
So this Kusto's Explorer, is this something similar to the Azure Storage Explorer or Service Bus Explorer? Like you install it to your local machine, connect it with your like Service Bus queues or storage accounts. Yeah, is it something like a desktop application or it's something available within the Azure? It's a desktop app. Okay, so how do we connect that with our okay, so how do we connect that with our applications?
That's a very good question. So, in order to connect that with your workspace, there is something called the connections panel. In the connections panel, you need to give the connection information of your log analytic workspace. So that one, like whenever you
Yeah.
create a new log analytics workspace, you will have the connection string. You need to give that connection string on the connections panel so that your desktop application is connected to your log analytic workspace. So it would be able to fetch the data from that? That's a very good question. Yeah.
Okay, so it gives us an opportunity to pull records from multiple workspaces. With Azure Portal, we can just query a single workspace, not multiple workspaces, or we cannot just have a centralized dashboard, right?
Yeah. So this Kusto Explorer, you would be able to set up for multiple subscriptions, multiple connection panels. So you can query the logs from different location from the different workspace, which is definitely giving you a very good opportunity to use it from one place. Yeah, that's a very good.
Yes. So previously, when I was working with these application insights, there was a limitation from Azure side. Say if you're dealing with a large data being logged into your workspace, Azure can display only 1 million records, not more than that. If you're trying to query any result which is having records of more than 1 million, Azure would have a lag there and it would display an error saying you can't display this much of data. So we even checked with Azure, and that was kind of a limitation from their side, is what came to know. Will this Azure monitoring agent overcome this, or still, or we are yet to explore on
Yeah,
this?
that's a very good cache which you have found out. At this moment, Custo limits the number of records returned to the client. It's especially about the Custo when you're doing the Custo query. So it limits the number of records returned to the client to 500,000, and the overall data size for the records should be lesser than 64 megabytes. So if you are querying a data that's going to return more than 500,000 records, and if it is going to exceed 64 megabytes, then you are into the same situation. Yeah,
Okay.
but that scenario is going to be very less. But Microsoft will overcome this scenario in future.
So let's talk about a bit of the end-to-end tracking scenario. Let's start from the basics. So with Azure Portal, what options do we have on this end-to-end tracking? Because typically when we deploy an application in the cloud, it's going to be multiple resources and data will be scattered across Azure Portal, right? So let's start from the scratch. So what options do we have in order to get this holistic view on the data?
That is also a very good question. This is something a customer where they struggle, especially for the data collection. So here, especially if you are looking for a monitoring solution that applicable for a cloud, with this log analytics workspace, there is an option to integrate all your SaaS applications to the log analytics workspace. For example, you can select option to send your Azure AD logs to the workspace, to the log analytics workspace. So, for example, let's say if any one of your colleagues is logging in into the Azure, like portal.azure.com or Office 365 from any location, those logs are being sent to a workspace. From there, you will be able to query them. So basically, the data collection on the cloud, even on the on-premise, everything could be simplified by using this data collection. And one more thing to tell: this Azure monitoring has something called data collection rules. With this data collection rules, you'd be able to configure what specify what data you should collect, what data you should transform, and also you should deliver. So this is also one of the feature that came probably less than 2 years, but most of the companies are still adopting to this. So this data collection rules will definitely help you what data to collect, how data should be processed, and then where the data should go. So these things are really better. in terms of the data collection.
Pricing of the application insights or the log analytics workspaces depends on how much data you log into these workspaces, right?
That's a very good question. That was the topic which I was about to conclude. Well, coming to talk about the data retention, by default, 31 days of retention is included with your pricing plan. Uh, the longer the retention will incur the additional charges. Retention can also be configured individually. Like for example, when you set up your log analytic workspace, you go into the data retention. There is a tab, so you see the default data retention is 31 days. You can move it up to 720 days, which is going to be 2 years, and then after that, retention would be applicable. So based on this, it's totally dependent on you, like how you wanted to set the data retention based on the application. That's the main benefit of the data retention. And yeah, coming to talk about the pricing, it is not that expensive when coming to talk about the other solutions I see in the market. So for the log management and also for the data retention, it is very competitive compared to the other products in the market. Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your own experiences with application insights or log analytics workspaces. What at least the audiences would be interested to know is so something that you built that gave yourself a wow factor. Something that was
Yeah.
not possible before, but when you just drill down into the application insights or log analytics workspaces, typically you would build something, right, which something that gave you a wow factor.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I would like to tell, when this log analytics workspace was in preview in the beginning of the year 2020, we started this for one of our customer to monitor the meeting rooms where they had spread across the globe. They had like 500 plus meeting rooms spread across the globe. So during the time, there was no not a simplified approach of monitoring the meeting room as we have now, like Teams Premium, but it was not the case during the time. So we built the monitoring solution through the Log Analytics agent and the Log Analytics workspace, and it was really helpful for all the service desk employees. It was helpful for all the administrators to overcome and help the meeting room issues. Whenever they come across a meeting room which is not functioning, nobody needs to go directly to that room. They just simply run the query over the portal. They say, "Hey, this meeting room is dropped out the camera. This meeting room is this meeting room app has crashed." So after looking at it, mostly 80% of the solution would be done remotely. So that was one of the great wow factor which we did when it was in the beginning stage. So I would say Custo is a very powerful tool. With that, you'd be able to simplify your admin daily operational work.
Anything else that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think that's I would talk about as a summary. With the log analytics, you can collect data from variety of sources, and with the Custo, it's a powerful language that will give you insights to the operation of your applications and resource. And finally, you can use Azure Monitor to access the complete set of tools for monitoring your on-premise as well as the Azure resources. So I would say, like, if you wanted to, use this service, first I would try to understand what is the business case. First, please try to understand what is the business case that your company or your organization is missing out on the operations in the monitoring perspective. Uh, I would ask and suggest to choose that one particular use case and build a prototype, and after that you would be able to proceed further on the implementation with the prototype, and then if it is successful, then possibly you can go with the next phase of implementing it on the other applications. Yeah.
Okay. So who do you think is a right audience for application insights or the KQL language itself?
uh, I would say admin, and also a person who has worked on Azure Office 365, for more than 2 years, they would be able to definitely get this. It's easy language, and it's also a very helpful tool to get started with, and it will really help them in reducing their daily operational work.
So anyone who is looking to get started with this KQL, um, any preferred channels or platform that you would suggest to just learn about the KQL?
Actually, there is a very good module in the Microsoft Learn. So where just like anyone is who is interested, they can go and start the training. There is a very good training in the Microsoft website where they get started with how to analyze monitoring data with Kusto Query Language. It's a it's close to 4 hours module. If they complete it, then definitely they would be able to learn how to analyze the data in Azure Monitor using the Kusto Query Language.
So thank you, Satish. So all of these insights were really helpful, and I think the audience will be very happy after this podcast. Yeah.
Thank you. It was really nice talking to you. Waiting to give more sessions in the future.
Cove.co